How's it going? Ever since I was a little kid, I've been interested in filmmaking. Not just like making movies, but just having a camera in my hand and documenting what's going on in front of me. It's just fun.
Hi. Oh, fuck. Why did I leave the camera so far? What?
Fast forward to now, as an adult man-child, I have quite a few cameras, most of which I use for some form of work-related thing. But there's one camera in particular that's been with me all along. It's really old and it holds up to this day. I mean, it holds up in terms of fun. And that camera is this. The Sony CX405. It's a little $200 piece of shit, and I love it. It goes with me everywhere I go, no matter what I'm doing. I cannot stand camera reviews where it's just some dude sitting here holding the camera for 20 minutes and yapping, and by the end of the video there is zero footage from the camera they are reviewing. So let's not do that here. 100% of the footage in this video will be from the CX405, unless it is physically in the shot like this. I also will be doing zero work in post on the image of this video. All of this is just straight from the camera, no grading. A good amount of the audio will be from the CX405 as well. Not all of it, because I don't think it would make for that good of a viewing experience. But the audio quality on this camera it's good enough to use if you don't have anything else. This was my first camera ever, and I still consistently use it all the time. It's just fun. It's just fun to have. This camera is not something I take seriously. It's just for fun. It's just for memories. It's just for f***ing around, really. Somehow the vibes of a camcorder is just still something that is completely unmatched by any other type of camera. There's just a certain charm to the way this footage looks. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the footage from this camera looks good. It does not. It's a horribly low bit rate. It's 1080, 60p. It looks decently sharp, especially when you're zoomed all the way out. You're doing a nice wide shot of maybe an environment or something like that. Even like this. Got some studio lighting on you, you know, good sound, and like this is usable. This is not bad. You could definitely do something with this. Instead of using a mirrorless camera, the reason I've stuck with camcorders is because you get everything you need for video just built in. If you want to dive in and look at all of the specs and stuff, then read the manual. This video is much more about just sitting back and watching some sample footage. Okay, Sony, let's see if your auto settings can handle this bull. The absolute worst auto setting that I have noticed about this camera is definitely the exposure. It doesn't really handle changes in light very well automatically. Some of the auto settings are reliable, but I think that exposure and white balance definitely should be done manually. I like the one push button for white balance. I think it works really well. And then exposure is just do manual exposure, honestly. Most of the time, if you have this thing in full auto, you're gonna be okay. I like the one push setting for the white balance. I think it does kind of a better job than the auto does most of the time, except for when it comes to skin tones. And then there's the auto exposure. It's not worth turning on. You pretty much need to always be setting your own exposure, because most of the time the camera's gonna get it wrong. Case in point, watch this. I'm gonna switch it to auto now. This is auto exposure. Do I look good right now? Or do I look deep fried? Just just do manual exposure. It's way better. Another thing I don't like about it are honestly the controls. One button just simply opens up your footage archive. Cool. But then you get this kind of like joystick button. It's just annoying. The controls are they're really weird, especially when you're used to touch screens now. Your main control is going to be this little joystick button here, and navigating it is just such a if you want to change any settings on this camera, you have to basically go up to menu here, go over to record, and then find the setting that you want to change. This is just the most cumbersome way to do manual focus ever. It's not fun. Now, here's my big tip for this video is go down to this section of the menu screen and go to My Button. This allows you to set up 3 shortcuts for whatever setting you want to have quick access to. You get 3 shortcut buttons. I have mine set to exposure, white balance, and auto backlight setting. Everything else about this camera can just stay on auto. So real quick, here's a little tip about the battery pack here. If you open up the compartment, when you first get it, there's actually like a little piece of plastic blocking this off right here, and there's actually a little secret compartment here where you can store a second battery. So you can just kind of hot swap them out whenever you are out filming without having to worry about adding space to your camera bag, which is just awesome. You can in fact get some nice blurry backgrounds with this thing. All you've got to do is just zoom in well enough on a subject and you'll probably end up with some level of a blurry background. While the stabilization is good, if you're going to be zooming in a lot, it is best to make sure that you do have this thing on a tripod in order to maintain stability. The Sony CX405 was the best decision I ever made when it comes to buying cameras. It's what started my entire journey in creating videos professionally. This YouTube channel you're on right now, which you should definitely subscribe to, wouldn't exist in the form that it does now without this camera. I enjoy packing this thing in my bag, flipping open the screen, and just having a good time. It weighs just nothing. You can fit it in your pocket. It requires absolutely zero skill to operate. You just open up the screen, it turns right on, you hit record, and you go. That's it. As low bitrate and grainy as this little old camcorder is, some of the shots you can get are genuinely beautiful, and then sort of starts to fall apart once you start zooming in. But you know, another thing that I feel like goes unmentioned when it comes to old camcorders like this is the fact that you can use them as webcams. This thing became my webcam and kinda still is. If you've watched this far, I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope you end up enjoying this camera if you get it. Enjoy creating things and capturing life on camera. Maybe let me know if this format is helpful, and if you plan on getting one yourself, I have an affiliate link in the description. But also maybe stay tuned, because this is not going to be the only camera review that I do. I've got quite a few to get through here. That's pretty much it. Like, subscribe, and comment, and see ya.